Are these shard cards really worth 5 shard points? Hey guys, Nightfall here, and after yesterday's patch where they changed the value of some of the shard cards, I figured why not make a series going over each level of shard points and their rarity and see, are they worth it? So today's video is going to be, are these cards worth 5 shard points? I'm going to try to record these as fast as possible so that they don't get ahead of me and change some of the cards and mess up this entire series. So if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you hit the like button and remember to subscribe. And before we jump straight into the shard cards, I have one more thing to show you guys. So recently I found out about NVIDIA game filters, and this isn't a sponsored ad or anything like that. It's not a plug. And what you're looking at right now is the normal base game that you would load into before I added any filters onto it. And what you're looking at now is with the NVIDIA game filters turned on. To me, it just looks a lot brighter, more rich in color versus the previous washed out, dull and boring colors. So let me know down in the comments, did you like it before the filters or do you like it now with the filters? Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the shard cards. And today's video, as I said, is going to be the 5-point shard cards. So we'll run down these from high to low, and we'll stop when we get to the last 5-point shard card. You can see that there are 169 cards in the game, and this is just in Shard Clash Standard. There are 162 available in Ranked, which means there are 7 available in Unranked that aren't available in Ranked. And as I come across those cards in this series, I'll put a note on screen if I'm not lazy and forget, letting you know that this one is not available in Ranked. And funny story, I did attempt to record this video already, and I was going to do just the entire 169 card collection, but I figured that video was looking like it was going to be about an hour long. So about 10 minutes in, I stopped the video and then also realized that my microphone wasn't even working. So blessing in disguise, but let's go ahead and get into this first shard card called Site Deletion. And this one just removes one target site randomly, meaning it could eliminate A or it could eliminate B. And I think it would be worth 5 shard points if you could choose. Let me choose, do I want to delete site A or site B? I feel like there is a lot of strategy that could go into that, but the way it is right now, I think it's only worth about 4 shard points. Now keep in mind that before I go into any other cards, I am a low gold ranked player at the moment. So if you're somebody who's playing at the higher ranks, I may have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. This is all just my opinion on the rank that I play in. So the next card is Medical Error, and this one is just no healing for enemies. Again, 5 shard points. And with my limited knowledge of the game, this one I'm assuming would mean that it would disable enemy pathogens healing. It would also get rid of any ability of them picking up the health on the ground throughout the map. So with that, I say maybe it's worth 5 points. And this is where we get into the controversy of half points. We've all been there where we have a half a point left or 0.8 points left or something like that. A card like this, I think, is worth 4.5 points, to be completely honest. So could that be a change in the coming future where cards are worth half a point? Maybe something to keep an eye out for. The next one is Health Club, and this one I have a small problem with. It only gives you 25 HP. So in its current state, I'm not saying that it's not worth 5 points because it's really close, but I think it needs a little buff. Maybe give me 35 extra health. But again, I think this one in its current state may be worth another one of those 4.5 points. The next card is Big Heads, and this one is pretty self-explanatory. And I also forgot that there is videos to these, so I'll be playing these for the rest of these cards. It just makes the enemy's heads bigger. And in this game, with the headshot multiplier being just astronomically huge in winning a gunfight, this card is definitely worth 5 points. In fact, I might go so far as to say this card is worth 6 points, which then begs a new question. Will there be shard cards that come out in the future that are worth more than 5 points? But moving on to the next question, this one is Weapon Enhancement, and it enhances a random weapon of each type. This one doesn't have a video, and again, there's really no details anywhere. You can't click on the card or flip it over to see more details, which I really think they should add, because what does that mean? What is it enhancing? Is it enhancing the fire rate? Is it enhancing the damage? Is it both? Is it everything? Like what are we talking here? Without knowing what it's enhancing, and it being random, I absolutely don't think it's worth 5 points. This card is worth 3 points without knowing any additional information and without being able to choose which weapon you're enhancing. Next up is the Infernal Hounds, and this one recently got a nerf. And you can see it's just an Infernal Hound that follows you around and then will attack an enemy at random times. However, you can also hear that its footsteps are just insanely loud for no reason. So I found that this ends up giving people away more than it's actually useful. And like I said, they were also subject to a nerf in yesterday's patch. So this one probably not worth 5 shard points anymore. And maybe they need to come down to about 4. Next card is Ricochet. Again, a pretty self-explanatory one. You can ricochet up to 3 times. So let's take a look at this video. And you can see that the bullets are just bouncing everywhere. 110%. This is worth every single 5 of these shard points. This eliminates sometimes having to peek walls and corners and stuff. You could just spray around a corner and ricochet it off the wall and get lucky kills. So yeah, worth every shard point. Next one is Close Quarters Combat, and I absolutely hate when this card is used, and it's just eliminates any guns in the game. You just have melee weapons and that's it. Now, is it worth 5 shard points? Well, if you're getting outplayed in every gunfight, then yeah, it might be worth 5 shard points to try your hand at a melee battle, but you have to think of the ramifications of that and how that could affect your team as well. Moving on to the next card, Blade Master, and it's basically just a sword that blocks bullets. I mean, let's take a look at the video. You're fully charged up, it's blocking all the bullets, and then you get close, charge, and you kill the enemy. When I have this card activated, my sword does not do that. I always get shot somehow in the feet or the head still, and I die before I get anywhere near them. The real question is, if this card and the Close Quarter Combat card comes up and you have enough shard points to get both, do you still get to use the blade? Because it's technically a melee weapon, and this blocks melee attacks, so you could be almost invincible. Not sure if these 2 cards would ever pop up at the same time, if there's some kind of restrictions on the back end of the game that stop certain card combos from happening, but it would definitely be interesting to see, bringing a sword to a knife fight. The next card is King of Eggs, and you just remain crouched for 10 seconds to lay an egg that you can then turn around and eat to regain HP. I've never actually seen this one in action, so let's go ahead and check this out. I'm hoping they don't actually make us watch the full video of 10 seconds, which it looks like they do. You lay an egg and you pick it up and you eat it. Some of these cards are very, very weird, and you can 100% tell that they were made by a Chinese company, because who the hell in America would think of something like this? Probably people in Florida. So is it worth 5 shard points? Well, you have to remain crouched for 10 seconds. I don't think you can interrupt it by standing up again and then crouching, so you can't crouch for 5, stand for 2, crouch for 5, lay an egg. I think it has to be consecutive. And again, I wish these cards were more descriptive, but because you do have to sit there for 10 seconds, I'm going to say this one's only worth 4 shard points. Let's go ahead and move on down to the next card, and it's Return to Sender. And this one is just as soon as you shoot an enemy, they're teleported back to their spawn point, just like that. Now, is it worth 5 shard points? Well, this one is super situational, but I can definitely see the value behind this being 5 shard points. Take, for example, somebody is defusing. It's a 1v1 situation. You're low on health and you peek a corner as they fake defuse and you get a lucky shot on them, and it sends them all the way back to spawn. Likely they won't have time to come all the way back, kill you, and defuse the bomb. So very situational card, but definitely worth 5 shard points. The next card is Vampire Knight, and this one increases your max HP and gain lifesteal. And it says you can evolve it once your team deals 200 damage to unlock that slow HP regeneration. So let's take a look at the video here, and you can see that the entire map changes with a card like this. And there are a few cards that do this. And there's the lifesteal in action. You can see he's still regenning health down here at the bottom, but he was gaining health as he was shooting him. Really like the cool effect that it changes the entire map. And with everything else this card does, it's easily worth 5 shard points. And again, another one of those ones I think is worth 6. The next card is Bio Warrior, and the description is Death Rattle. I don't really know what that means, but basically after you get killed, you respawn as a zombie, and I want to say you get 50 health, but let's check that out here. Yep, so you do get 50 health, and you just have a melee attack like you're playing an Outbreak game. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and it shouldn't, but the amount of times that people don't pay attention to the other team having this card and they shoot somebody and it says that they kill them and then they run away and then they end up getting killed from behind because they're now a zombie is absolutely hilarious to me. Only having 50 HP though makes this card for me worth only 4 shard points. The next card we have is prosthetic enhancements, and your limbs are bulletproof. So if you shoot somebody in the leg that has this or the hand, they're bulletproof. That's a 6-point shard card if I've ever seen one. This prioritizes chest and headshots over anything else. So if you're somebody who can't really aim all that well, you're gonna have a tough time with this one. The next card is Squat Master, and every time you crouch, you increase your max HP. Let's go ahead and see this in action. And you already know this is not how it is being used at all. People with macros and stuff are gonna set up infinite spam crouch and they're just gonna increase their health to insane amounts. And you can do this as soon as the round starts. So before the walls and stuff even unlock for you to get going, you could have close to 200 HP if you have something like that set up. Again, there's no further details on the card, so I don't know if there's a limit on how much health you can get, but you could literally just have somebody sit in one of the bomb sites and just constantly run that macro and would have probably close to 300 HP by the time they get to that site. And that would be something very, very difficult to deal with if you're on the enemy team. Imagine shooting somebody who has 300 health. This might be a card that they either have some kind of a red flag on that every match it's activated, they need to go in and check the HP that people get to so they can ban people for that, or they might need to just take this one out of the game altogether. And a little bit of a post edit here. I realized in editing that there was no itchy trigger, and I was like, that card is definitely 5 shard points. So I'm not sure what happened or why it wasn't included in the list to begin with, because I'm filtering the same exact way now. Shard card, standard, shard point, high to low. And yet here it is right here next to Dullahans or whatever this is. So we're going to go ahead and check out this video. And basically itchy triggers just makes you randomly shoot your gun every 5 seconds. It is super annoying, can result in some pretty funny kills, but ultimately it just gives your position away. Now, is it worth 5 shard points? No, I don't think so. I think it's probably one of those 4 shard point cards, but again, I'm in gold. What do I know? The next card here is Dullahans. I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, but basically your team's heads become flames and you can't shoot them. Crazy. So like I said before with another one of these cards, in a game that prioritizes headshots and has a crazy headshot multiplier, absolutely worth 5 shard points here. Next card is Equipment Supply. All weapons gain 1 more use. No video, pretty self-explanatory. Is it worth 5 shard points though? I honestly don't think so. Sure, you do get to use a weapon that you've now lost twice, but if you've lost that weapon twice, it means you've probably lost that gunfight with that weapon twice already. So do you really want to try it again? Maybe you should just use a different weapon, or maybe they should lower this one to 3 shard points. The next card is Hard Rain. Now, this one says it triggers after not taking damage for a while, and you gain a water shield when staying in a rainy area. How much damage does that shield have? I have no idea. If any card needed a video to explain it better, it's probably this one. So as of right now, is it worth 5 shard points? I have no idea, because how much health is that shield? How long does it last after you leave the rainy area? I don't know. I'd have to say maybe it's worth 4, but like I said, I don't know enough about it. Next card is Freestyle Placement, and I don't think that I've ever seen this card used, and I'm willing to bet that this is one of the cards that's not available in rank, because this means you can plant the converter anywhere, but the converting time is plus 40 seconds. So you can literally just run out and just plant this puppy wherever the hell you feel like it. Doesn't have to be in sight. You could probably plant this thing in your spawn if I had to guess. I don't know why he would even get so close in this video, but hey, is that worth 5 shard points? It's worth 6. Hell, it might be worth 7. If this card is available in ranked, and like I said, I'll put the little thing at the bottom of this screen next to this card if it's not available in ranked, but if it is, that's the most broken shit I've ever seen. The next card we have is TikTok, and this is just after 1 minute, disables all target sites, so you can no longer plant the converter. Again, another one of these combo card things where you have freestyle placement TikTok. I wonder if that could happen. And if it disables the target sites, could you still plant the converter wherever you wanted? I mean, I guess you wouldn't necessarily wait a whole minute to plant it wherever, so it really wouldn't matter. But disabling target sites after the first minute and forcing the enemy team to basically eliminate all Lancers is easily worth 5 shard points. Moving down to the next card, we have relocation. Defenders can relocate target sites until the converter is planted. Basically just means that you can pick up the site and just drop it wherever you want. So now this is site B. Again, I'd be hard pressed to believe that this is available in a ranks game, but if it is, I can see strategies playing out where you just move the 2 sites next to one another and it would be super easy to defend. So is it worth 5 shard points? Yes. Hell yes, it is. The next card is Leader of the Dead. You spend your own HP to generate a bio warrior. So how much HP do you spend? So you lose 30 HP and you probably create something that has like 50 health. It does take 5 hits to kill the enemy, but it can definitely take the heat off of you for just a second. So is it worth 5 shard points? I'm gonna say yes. The next card is Heavy Armor, and a random ally gains a huge HP buff, but their damage is greatly reduced. How huge of a buff? 1500 HP. I mean, your damage is nerfed so bad that it basically negates the HP buff. So here's my recommendation for this. Is it worth 5? Yes. Should it be reduced by that much? Probably not. So what I'm going to say is maybe they need to change this to reduce the damage a little less, but also reduce your movement speed. I think that could easily balance this card out, but seeing somebody with 1500 HP is ridiculous. And here I was saying just a few minutes ago that seeing somebody with 300 HP would have been a fucking problem to deal with. This is a problem. You could just stand in front of somebody else while they shoot them and just eat all the bullets. Next card is Swift Support, and you teleport to a teammate's side when you activate this card. Just like that. I don't know that I'd necessarily want to be facing my teammate. I'd want to be facing away whichever direction he's looking, because if he's fighting somebody and you teleport to him, you're just gonna die. You just act as a bullet sponge for him. But is it worth 5 shard points? Definitely think so. A lot of situations where that could come in handy. Moving on to the next card, Weapon Morph. A dropped weapon becomes a turret. And yes, I have tested this. You can just drop your pistol and it becomes a turret. You do not need to drop your main weapon like that. Sure, it becomes a slightly weaker turret because, you know, you're just dropping a pistol and turning it into a pistol turret. But it is definitely worth 5 shard points because you can use this in so many site defenses. Moving on to our second to last card of the value of 5 shard points, it's Weapon or Life. So you can sacrifice your primary weapon to survive fatal damage once, which means if you get shot and you almost die, you just drop your main weapon and get down to 1 HP and you have a pistol. Now, I have benefited from this card and I've actually gotten a kill from this because they thought they killed me and started running away. I'm not sure if you can then go and pick up somebody else's primary weapon. I don't think so. I think the person I killed had theirs disappear. But is it worth 5 shard points? Yes. And now the last card in the 5 shard point category is Backup Weapon, and you can just have 2 primary weapons. This is a risk reward card because I think if you die, you still lose both of those weapon uses. So if you have 2 SMGs, you then would probably lose both SMGs. I could be wrong on that. Not sure. Somebody fact check me and let me know in the comments. But is it worth 5 shard points? I'm going to have to say no. I'm going to have to say this is worth maybe 4 shard points at the most. I can't really see a time where I would need 2 primary weapons. Again, low gold rank here. Maybe I'm just dumb, but usually 1 AR or SMG or LMG or whatever it is good enough for me. I mean, I get where you might want to on some maps have a marksman rifle and an SMG, or maybe an AR and a shotgun. So that could come in handy, but most gunfights, you're not going to have time to switch your weapon anyway, because it just takes way too long to switch out the new weapon and then ADS and shoot, or just hip fire, whatever. So yeah, 4 shard points for this one. So that's going to wrap it up for all of these shard cards that are worth 5 points. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with any of these or if I'm just absolutely off my rocker with this. And like I said earlier, if you want to see the rest of this series, make sure you like the video so I know that you're liking this kind of content. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.